this is Lori, and welcome to my series on adventures in soldering. This is part 5 of the Make Your Uno Kit series, and in this episode we'll be soldering the Adafruit Wingshield. I purchased this kit so that I could access the unused pins on our Uno and add that to the synthesizer circuit. So this kit will kind of fit in between the Uno that we soldered and the Synth Shield. We'll put it in between and we'll be able to access those pins and do add some other components to the circuit like some LEDs. I'd want to remind everybody that I'm not an expert at soldering and I may not be demonstrating the best ways to do soldering. I'm still learning, getting a little bit better, have a little bit better tools than when I started this series, so hopefully I'm improving. I feel like I am. But anyways, I'm still not an expert and I may not be always demonstrating the best ways to do things, so if I can't be a good example, I'll just have to be a horrible warning. This is the Wingshield that we'll be soldering today. It's not a ton of work, but it's still a good sized kit and takes a little bit to get it done. It's a reasonable price, I think, and you can see that I'll be able to mount in the Synth Shield here, and then I'll be able to access the other pins by using these little screw terminals here so that we can add some other components to our circuit. Well, let's get going and get this thing done. Got my setup here, pretty well going. I read the instructions. They give a very nice instructions on putting this little kit together. They actually want you to start with these screw terminals first, but that's not what I would do first. So, and then you go to the headers that you add, the stacking headers, and then you add a couple of resistors, the LEDs, and the switch. But I'm going to do these first because they're kind of small and they're easy to work around. So that's what I'm going to do. So the two resistors go right here and the two LEDs go here. So we'll do those first and then we'll come back and catch the switch, which is over here. The two resistors are the same, so I don't have to worry about making sure they're the correct. I'm putting the right one in the right spot. There's just two of them, and we'll go ahead and bend them into shape here and put them in. So one goes here. I'll pop that one in, and then I'll get the other one. I'll bend that one into shape. And that might not have been quite tight enough, but we'll see. Put it in as well. Yeah, it's a little. Okay, those look pretty good. Let's flip it over and we'll bend back the legs so that they stay up. Just make sure I have that flush there. Okay, those look pretty good. Now looking at where all the legs are, I think I'm just going to do the resistors first. Here, that should be in good view. Might move it back just a little bit, make that the center. Turn on our. And I left that in good shape the last time I soldered with my new iron. So I'm just going to check and make sure we're at a good temperature. Here we are. I'll go down here and heat up that pad. And feed in all the solder. I did not get that on the pad, so let me try again. How that came out. Not sure why it didn't look so good. But let's try again. Come over and catch this one. I'm not 100% with this tip yet. I may switch it back to the smaller tip that I have been using. So I was getting pretty comfortable with it. Oh, it looks better. Feed in a little bit here. Alright. feed in a little bit this way, I think. On the pad a little bit better. Yeah, alright, that looks good. And then we'll just take a look and make sure they look good. We do. And now we'll go ahead and flip these off. Get that a little flusher. There we go. Alright, that looks good. Okay, next we'll do the LEDs. So we have a red one and a green one. So the green one goes here in the power. It's marked power. And we have to remember always that LEDs have a polarity. So the long leg is the positive side. These are teeny little LEDs. I'll put that one in there, and I put the long leg to the positive side, and then the other one goes here. That's I guess the one we could blink. I don't know what pin it's actually connected to, but I guess we'll find out. Probably 13. And I put the long leg on the positive side there. And we'll just flip these over and bend them back like that, and bend these back as well. Alright, and I want them to be, you know, nice and straight, so I am going to do just one side first and then kind of flow it to get it as level as I can. Alright, so we'll work on the first one. Make sure I have my tip nice and clean, ready to go. And, work on that one. I'm going to use a little flux here. I really have better control. I'm having with this tip. I don't know whether it's the tip or this board kind of funky. Wow, that came out nice and straight. So I'm happy with that. Alright, let's see if I can't get a little bit better with this tip. Hopefully you're able to see. Sometimes when I get the iron not in quite the right orientation, let's see how it went. Ah, that's good. So I saw it wiggle there, and I was a little nervous. It wasn't going to be straight, but it looks good. Alright. So let's try this one here. There. That looks pretty good. Okay, before I get too excited. So that's a little cockeyed. So I'm going to kind of flow it and try to straighten it a little bit. Yeah, like that. And yeah, now I got it nice and straight. Alright, so let's finish this one up. There we go. Alright, I think I like the look of that. They look good and straight, so let's pop those up and clip them off. There we go. There we go. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Well, the last thing we want to do is put our switch in. Little button switch, which goes like that, and that sits really firmly in there. So I am not worried about that coming out or even pushing that out. It really kind of snapped in there nicely. Alright, so I'll do that, and I think what I'll do is just kind of flip this around so I can get this in the center of the camera. So we're going to solder right about there. And put that away. Let's go ahead and try to solder this up. That looks good. Up, and then we'll feed it in a little bit. In there. Alright, let's just make sure it looks nice and flush. And it does. So now we can do the other ones. That looks good. Looks good. Last one. All right. Let's just take it off here and take a good look at those. How they all ended up being nice and pretty straight. Nice and flush. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So now we'll probably start working on, I'm guessing I'm going to work from the inside out. Maybe I'll work on the stacking headers next. All right, I got the headers that will go through, and you can kind of see them in here. I use a breadboard to keep things straight. Wasn't necessarily suggested in the Adafruit instructions, but that's always been my best luck with adding headers onto boards. So tends to make it so that you get it a little straighter. And you might notice I tape these down just to make it really firm because I want it to be nice and flush. And then we solder on this side. I've never done that before with the big long leads coming out of those headers. But I feel like it's pretty sturdy, and I think it's pretty straight on. So that's how I'm gonna do it. All right, so put a little more, just a little more light in here to help see a little bit better. And we'll turn it on and give it a go. And it did mention to put a healthy amount of solder on here. We'll try. I'm going to take a pause and just look and make sure everything's looking nice and flush and lined up right. Because we can always fix it when we just have a couple done. Alright, so now I'm just going to finish up and work my way down the down the row. Okay, I think that's got it, and I got the hang of it. Still getting used to that different tip. So yeah, I kind of had a couple where I was trying to overdo the soldering on one side, but so I started looking a little bit closer with my magnifying lamp. But I think I did this side pretty good. So try not to underdo, but I definitely overdid a couple back here. but I think it'll be all right. This doesn't seat all the way in when I was testing it, so yeah, I think we got that. Take it off and take a look, see how it looks. I put some flux on it too. And whenever something's not going your way, flux is always a useful. These are little things I use to kind of keep it in. And yeah, that's decently straight. And it looks like it's on pretty good, and it's all flush, so I can't fault that too much. So yeah, let's see. Here's the Uno. So let's just give it a test fit. Hopefully it's gonna slide in there. Slide first, maybe. It's a little tricky. There we go. Yeah. So see, it doesn't seat all the way down, so that little bit of extra solder there is okay. All right, so yay, it fits, and perfect. So let's feel a little a little thinner than. Hopefully they'll last, but I'll probably just leave this all plugged in once I get this the synthesizer set up. All right, so now we got to do these. So I'm going to go get them set up and probably tape them down somehow so that we can do them on the flippy board. Okay, as I was putting this together, I thought this was maybe not so pretty simple, but you can actually slide these together. You might just see me do it, and they really make a pretty seamless piece when you do that. So yeah, so that's this one here, and we got to make sure the as they say in the Adafruit, the mouths are on the outside like that. So that would be a real bummer to solder them the wrong way. That would be exactly the sort of thing I would do. So you can actually see there's let me bring them up a little closer. There's some little slots here, and they slide into each other. As when I first started putting together, they wouldn't really seat very nicely, and I was a little disappointed. Now you can see how it nicely slotted together, and it stays. And then that goes here, and then that works. See, now there is a little bit of a gap between these two, and then there's a set of 4 here for these pins here. I did not put any headers in for that. I think I could have done that if I wanted. I don't have any plans for these extra connections, but so I'll just leave it in case I ever decide to use this board for anything else. And it is a little tricky to get them to slide, and you got to get both pieces on. There we go. So you have to kind of work at it and get it on. Now take a look at that. That looks nice, right? So I'm going to tape that down now and have that fit. I'll work on the other side too, but I thought I would show you that because I didn't pick up on that at first, and I kind of just started to notice it didn't seem to be fitting very well. Okay, I've got this mounted in the PCB holder, and I've taped it. I'm hoping you can see a little bit of the tape showing, but hopefully it's clear of these pads enough. I think it is. And I had to actually turn this one sideways. It's got our resistors on here. And maybe that was the reason for them to say, nope, don't put this on. Maybe I should have thought about that and listened to Adafruit. I don't know. Anyways, it's working. And got them all down, and all of the connectors are facing out. I think that would be an easy mistake to make when you do this. Alright, and we'll solder right along in here. I may just put a little bit of my flex pen on here just to kind of help this solder. I don't know whether I really need it, and I hadn't been using it up to this point, but I'm still getting used to that. No, that's not very tight. I'm still not used to that. My new tip. And so we'll have to see. Okay, I may have to hold up that a little bit as I put that first one in. Maybe I'll solder. No. Maybe I'll just try to get that tighter. Yeah, let me take a pause and see if I can't get that a little bit tighter. Everything else is tight. Okay, I just added another piece, and now it's all in nice. All right. And I'll turn that on. A little bit of my light up there, but not too much. Get my glasses on. And let's get this baby soldered. So I'm just going to do a little bit of each one of the sections at a time. And make sure I get it good. That's a pretty healthy pin. Alright, that went pretty good. I'm just going to do a quick check, make sure it looks pretty good and flat. And it does. Alright. Go ahead and get this section done. And the last one for this section. I think I'll speed solder through the rest of these. Take a look. I think it's tight there. There we go. I think it came out pretty good. You can kind of see the pieces here. So get this out of the way. Rid of this tape. And I upped the temperature there in that last part. I'm starting to think, well, maybe I'm struggling a little bit because I just don't have the iron high enough. And it definitely, I just took it up, I don't know, about 50 degrees Fahrenheit extra, and I think that helped. So I might have been running that iron just a little too cold, and I think that might be why I was having some problems kind of seeming to melt the solder quite the way I wanted. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, there were some other pieces that I could solder on, but I don't think I'm going to use them. I mean, there were some extra headers that I guess I could have chopped down and put there. I don't know. Also, there's the programming one, which I think you could have put through right there. But I don't have any. I'm not going to use that, I don't think. Yeah. So I'll keep them in case I do want to use it. But well, that's our wing, and now let's get it into our synthesizer, and we can add things to the pins that aren't being used, and do some more cool stuff with our Synth Shield.